Jonathan, what have you got from Draghi so far?
Yeah, good to see you, Matt. I think you just need to pull up a picture of the euro versus the dollar, and it always gives you a good idea of Mario Draghi's performance. If it goes up, he disappointed. If it goes lower, he performed, and he really performed today. And what was significant about it was the ECB statement, a commitment in that statement to return the central bank's balance sheet back to the size it was at the beginning of 2012, March 2012. That implies an expansion of 1 trillion euros. He said, yes, we've unveiled measures, but to get it back there, we will do more if needed. And that was a pretty punchy response by the man at the top today, and you've seen the reaction in the market, Matt.
Okay, so John, but the only thing it seems like he has said from the get-go is, we'll do whatever it takes. And clearly the market likes it. But what does the European economy really look like?
Well, I think he's not just said it, he's cut the deposit rate negative, he's cut the benchmark interest rate to 0.05%, he's got a covered bond programme, there's an asset purchase programme in the works again. What does the economy look like? Look, he's done what he can on the monetary policy side. We have structural problems in Europe and they need addressing, and that's not down to Mario Draghi, that's down to the leaders of the Eurozone governments, the individual governments, and it's not just the periphery either, Steph. You've got to look at Angela Merkel, the Chancellor over in Germany, a government that is still balancing the budget while the rest of the Eurozone is grinding along slowly. And the debate not just on monetary policy but on fiscal policy as well just goes on, Steph.
You know, what's interesting, Jonathan, there's a real debate there. There wasn't here. I mean, the Fed acts unanimously. There wasn't in Japan. They do whatever they want to do. In Europe, you've got all these different governments chiming in and maybe even a split decision inside the ECB.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting if you put the Bank of Japan against the ECB. As Steph sort of implied, the ECB is talking the talk. The Bank of Japan is really walking the walk. Governor Kuroda is doing pretty much what he wants. He's buying government bonds. He holds 20% of the Japanese government bond market. He's buying ETFs. Yes, the Japanese central bank is buying exchange-traded funds. Would you believe it or not? The ECB just isn't in the game. And we've spent so much time talking about the Japanification of the Eurozone economy, the Japanification of the German bond market. Don't ever think about the Japanification of the European Central Bank. That's German. It's very conservative, and while he's done a lot, despite that pledge to get that balance sheet up €1 trillion, it remains to be seen just how he's going to do that.
I mean, Mario Draghi with a bond buying program and it being 2-year covered bonds, go fish. That's not going to do anything.
I think you've got a point there, Steph, and a lot of people have said the same thing, not just about its policy measures and how much it can do, but about how much there is out there in covered bonds and asset-backed securities here in the Eurozone. Just not enough to get the balance sheet up €1 trillion, which means what it always means. What else have you got? Are you going to do sovereign QE? Right now, that question remains unanswered. He is doing the talk today. It's working, but walking the walk, firm question mark.
What else has he got to make investors confident enough to go long a market that has a poor economy sitting under it? They're buying into a safety net.
They're going long, Steph.
Yes, but I'm saying they're going long. They're going long because Mario Draghi hasn't shown signs that there's real improvement. He's just saying, don't worry, I'm going to keep that safety net here. The Band-Aid's still here, but the economy sitting under it is still massively flawed.
Well, you tell me the last time the US market was trading on economic fundamentals. It's been trading on the Fed for the last 5 years and the expansion of the balance sheet there. The sovereign debt market here in Europe, granted, hasn't been trading on economic fundamentals either. It's been trading on a pledge to do whatever it takes. It's been trading on declining inflation expectations, and yields just keep going lower. I say to you, Steph, if you want to, try and short the French debt market, see what happens.
All right,
True that. I guess what he's saying, investors are drug addicts globally.
Yes. I think we can all agree on that. And really, it's Thursday afternoon. Jonathan has to get straight over the flying horse for a swift pint right now. So we appreciate your time.
You got it, Matt.
Jonathan Ferro in London.